In the modern world, it seems nothing is more powerful than two things: numbers and pictures. For that reason, Human Life International presents this compilation of stats and images based on the reality of abortion in the US and worldwide. Note that the statistics in this video come from sources that support abortion, including the Centers for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, and the Guttmacher Institute. We'll start with the numbers, then try to visualize them. As of February 2021, there had been over 62 million abortions in the United States alone since 1967, when the first states legalized it, and 1973's Roe v. Wade. The worst year was 1990, with 1,608,600 abortions. In 2017, the latest year estimated, there were 862,320 abortions. The drop can be explained in part by pro-life efforts and in part by abortion itself. Many women never reached childbearing age because they were aborted in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Worldwide, the total number of abortions declined from about 46 million in 1995 to about 41 million in 2003. However, the trend reversed. The numbers started going up and reached estimated record highs by 2020. Today, around 73 million children are killed by induced abortion worldwide each year. Taking those numbers into account, that means between 1 and 2 billion abortions have occurred worldwide since about 1960. The total number of babies killed by abortion in the 20th and 21st centuries is likely even more. If we take the 73 million rate for 40 years, already about 2.9 billion preborn babies have been killed by abortion. It can be hard to understand the astronomical magnitude of these numbers, so now let's put them into perspective. The Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. names 58,209 known Americans killed in that war. It is a wall stretching 492 feet. If a similar memorial were made for the 62 million plus legally aborted Americans, it would be over 90 miles long. If one was built for all the preborn babies killed in the world in 40 years, it would need to stretch over 1,000 miles longer than the distance between Los Angeles and New York City, which is already almost 2,500 miles. What about if we were to create a cemetery for all the babies aborted in the US in the last 60 years or so? That cemetery, using standard burial plots, would have to be over 300 square miles. For all the preborn babies murdered throughout the world in the same span, it would be over 13,000 square miles. That's the size of an imaginary state bigger than Maryland and 8 other states. Now, what if all the Americans aborted in the last half-century had been able to grow up and stood side by side to hold hands? The line would wrap around the equator over 2.5 times, stretching more than 65,000 miles. What about all the aborted babies in the world? That line would be about 44.7 times as long, almost 3 million miles, about 12 times the average distance between the Earth and the Moon. Let's try a thought experiment. As we said, there are reportedly about 73 million surgical or medical abortions worldwide every year. If that's so, then that is enough for 2.3 people per second to march abreast continuously past a single point for a whole year. Lastly, let's take a look at the number of people killed in the US by legal abortion, 62 million or more, and compare it to the populations of US states. It's about equal to the combined populations of Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. In other words, almost the entire Midwest and Southwest. If that doesn't impress someone, then consider that 62 million is much greater than the combined population of the 50 most populous US cities. In addition, we should note that the 73 million people aborted annually around the globe make up more than the populations of Texas and California, the most populous states, combined. And it's more than the total population of Thailand, a country with about 70 million people as of 2021. Just like the imaginary state from before, we can imagine a whole country whose population is wiped out by abortion yearly. Most staggering of all, perhaps, is that the over 2.9 billion babies who have been aborted throughout the world are more than the combined populations of China and India, the most populous countries in history. It's about 23 times greater than the total number of deaths in World Wars I and II combined, using the highest estimates of 40 million and 85 million, respectively. That makes the 20th and 21st centuries the deadliest centuries in history, not merely because of these and other wars, but especially because of abortion. Please don't let these statistics continue. The numbers are incomprehensible, but we can end them if only we choose to fight for the end of abortion and the right to life of all preborn babies. If you found this video helpful, be sure to tap the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected to the conversation. Thank you for watching.